Good, except for I failed on my commitment to have something come up with today. So I'm shit.
I gotta hold you accountable. Why?
Why?
You think this is a game? You think this is a motherfucking game? I think that's what DMX would say.
Yeah, I suppose. There's really, I mean, no excuse. I had ample opportunities to do things. I think it's just still just the idea. Like I don't have an idea that I want to work on. I'm not in, you know, but I don't. Like I said, I think if you just start working on stuff, things start to, come about. So I don't know why I'm using that as an excuse. So, but I have the after today, I have the next week and a half off. So, half some of that will be in. I'll be in actually in Florida again. But a couple days I have of free time, so
Or
work out
Orlando?
better. Yeah, Orlando again. Big family trip again. So one of these times I'll make it down and not have a bunch of family. Then I can come and hang out,
No.
eat a bunch of shrimp in a tent on the beach
What day or what weekend?
next weekend. We're leaving. We're flying down on the 3rd of May, and then we're leaving on the 1st. So
I may be able to build up some motivation to take a road trip up there on my bike.
yeah, I would say
It's
don't bother.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a big family thing, so they've got plans for what we're doing and not much leisure time. And I don't think that well, there's leisure time, but it's all deep family stuff. So we have like 16 people going. So
Got it.
I'll have to.
Speaking
I was
of
gonna
lost
say.
motivation, listen,
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of lost motivation, I lost my motivation for Beach Mobile until I know what the decision is for Y Combinator,
Oh yeah,
which should be here within like the next 2 weeks.
yeah. Just
But I mean, like the next step is to have some Chinese factories create my stuff. That's the next step. That's the most important step right now is to get branded pop-up tents and start propping them up on the beach and see how people respond to it.
yeah. And the idea behind that is it's the best and only good avenue for marketing that you found. Is to just put some up and have them so that they can.
Yeah, it's the closest thing I could get to a vending machine for sun shelter on the beach is throwing huge QR codes on these canopies and beach tents
Hmm.
and
And there's no way to do like a screen print or something like that on them. I guess I don't know how expensive that would be. Would
no,
you have to weave it? Because I mean, you can put crap on T-shirts, right? So
it needs. Yes, you could put crap on T-shirts, but this needs to. People need to see this.
yeah, what about dyeing it though, like with a template? I wonder if that would. I'm just curious if there's ways you could DIY it or not.
Someone like put a stamp on it.
Yeah, like a dye it, like if there's a way to dye the fabric. I mean, QR codes are just giant, blocks of. I mean, technically a
To me, it's like a stamp, right? Like
Sharpie, right?
when you go to a government building and they.
Yeah. Well, you could. I mean, because you need it to be dyed black. Well, I guess. So the thing about a QR code is, I guess, how well will it come through like a see-through tent? Like, are these see-through? Is there enough contrast on them where a QR code sticks out?
If it's black, yeah.
Yeah, because there's also like,
If the
I swear
QR
there's
code
some
is
like
black.
stuff you could paint on that's like a rubberized like substance that would like do that. I don't know. I think that there's probably ways to get a QR code on it
Well, you could be my
without
co-founder, and
requesting it
then
from China.
and you could help me. but I really believe I've exhausted everything that I could think of. And I mean, I've researched United States made in USA. There's nothing, and the stuff that does exist, it's not qualified for what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I was thinking about more about if you could just stamp something on it, or like spray paint it, or dye it, or any other handful of ways that you could get a QR code on something.
Without drawing attention from code compliance that routinely patrol the beach on their ATVs. They're you're you're not allowed to post ads. You're not
Gotcha.
allowed to attach ads.
So
So my
but
workaround was to brand my equipment so it screams that this is a rental and it's part of the branding.
yeah. So I wonder, like, where's the gray area on that? Because it's like, well, I mean, if you spray paint it, or if you're not, if you're putting it on the cloth itself, I mean, it's part of the thing now. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Hmm. I suppose like iron on might be like a probably, because those are probably like polyester. Probably don't do well under heat. Hmm.
Do they have maybe you're onto something. So is there such thing as a a factory creating a specialized template of cutouts and then you take that template in the spray can and you spray it.
I'm sure that there is. I'm not sure how easy or hard it would be to do that with a QR code, because of the, like, you might have like a block in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know if you'd have to have like, multi pieces that kind of fit together and spray differently or what, but um, yeah, it might be more difficult than I thought to build a template. I wonder about like custom embroidery. It's another thing. So it's like doing it through by sewing um, sewing it in. But
I don't think the material
just get
is
out there with some
unfillable.
sharpies, man. Get some sharpies. Make little blocks.
Draw the Google Play and Apple App Store icons onto it, and then draw
Yeah.
mobile rentals onto
Well,
it, and
would
draw the
QR
QR
codes
code.
is QR codes like required, or could you try to get just like a short URL, something really short?
I think people respond to QR codes. They know to scan it. I don't think people will say, "Oh, there is a URL. It must mean it's for rent." Like I want it to be intuitive to the subconscious mind.
Yeah. So you couldn't say rent me at blah blah blah, because that's technically an ad, even though it's not a posted ad. It's just part of the thing that you're renting. Like if somebody went somewhere that had like a rent me on a bike or something, and they were on the beach, you know,
Well,
or,
what may work is having in large font mobile rentals and then under a URL.
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I think getting text on paper on those things would probably be a little easier. Because then you could literally find a way to like print the text, and then I don't know if there's like iron it on. You could actually just sharpie it in, like I said, use a template, sharpie it on. Um, there's probably more options with that than there is with QR codes. But
Well, I think you just found your new project. Thank you. I
I'm trying to give you ideas, man. I got no ideas for my own stuff.
Since I paid my taxes, things are getting serious now. I got to get a job, man. I'm starting to fall into a depression. So,
That's no good. How's the hunt going on that?
uh, these organizations or these consulting firms or really recruiters, they want me to take their online tests, and I'm like, no, that's against my policy. Unless you're a FANG company or some other highly recognized organization, I'm not going to take your test. But here's a reference to my technical blog, my Stack Overflow profile, my YouTube channels, and I encourage you to review those for my candidacy for this role.
Hmm.
They don't care about that.
Yeah,
Becky and Heather, they don't care about that.
yeah. They've got policies and they just follow them. So you follow yours, they follow theirs, and you'll have to find in the middle somewheres.
You know what I have been doing is I have ChatGPT write my cover letters. So I'll take the
Write cover
questions
letters.
on the application form, and then I open up ChatGPT and say, "How would you write a cover letter to address the following questions?" And then I just copy paste and make some minor tweaks, submit.
I'm sure that they're getting tons of that now. Yeah, I've been trying to just like I don't know, try to find a use for AI where I could hop onto the AI like app train, because there's
Teddy
so many apps
Ruxpin,
coming out.
2023.
Huh?
Teddy Ruxpin, 2023, or Teddy Ruxpin GPT.
Teddy Ruck. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin. Ruxpin? The
Oh,
bear?
yeah, the bear. I could be pronouncing it wrong.
Oh, an animatronic child toy?
You never heard of Teddy Ruxpin?
No. It looks familiar now that I'm seeing the pictures of him, but yeah, no.
Yeah. Updated OS. The ultimate children's toy. It'll have your kid talking at 6 months.
Hmm. Okay. The world's first animated talking teddy bear, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Back in the day, you would put a cassette tape in it, and it would start talking, moving its mouth. I mean, I'm almost or yeah, I'm almost positive that's what that movie with Mark Wahlberg and that teddy bear was based on.
Ted?
Yeah,
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin. Hmm. No, I'd never heard of Teddy Ruxpin before today. Although I might have just seen him before, but never really knew that there was a name to him.
yeah, if you were born in the early '80s, you know about Teddy Ruxpin. You know about the Garbage Patch Kids. You know about Nintendo.
Yeah, well, Ruxpin came out the year that I was born, so I was born in the mid '80s.
Uh,
So it was I don't know. I only know about Garbage Pail Kids because my brother-in-law has cards in his shop.
Is that what it's called? Garbage Pail? What I say? Garbage Patch? Same thing.
Cabbage Patch is the other one,
Cabbage
right?
Patch. Oh, those are two different things.
There's Garbage Pail Kids, which is a book, and then
Uh,
like there's
yeah.
cards and stuff. I think I don't know.
And there's My Buddy, and then Kid Sister. I remember the song My
Yeah,
Buddy, wherever he goes, I want to go, My Buddy, My Buddy and me, Kid Sister, wherever she goes, I want to go, Kid Sister and me.
do you know
That's
what I
good.
remember for jingle is the Skip It jingle? Do you remember that?
Skip
Yeah,
it, something, something, something. Remember
but
Twister?
the very best thing of all, there's a counter on that ball. So try to beat your very best score. Blah blah
Oh
blah blah
wow.
blah blah blah. No,
You remember
I just remember
Twister?
that part. That was the big. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I do, but I don't remember the jingle for it. Is
I
there like
think
a?
people probably kept on getting molested, so they probably just stopped. They probably just took the game off the
No,
shelf.
it's out there. Kids, my kids have played it.
Twister.
Yeah, yeah, it's still available.
I remember.
Popular game.
What was that one game? Simon. Remember Simon?
Yeah, yeah. Simon's cool.
I never had it. I don't know anybody that's ever had that game.
We have a Simon. Like now, our kids have one, I think, but I don't
Yeah,
know that they ever play it.
you basically purchase all the games that no one plays. Twister,
Yeah,
Simon.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
guess who we're interviewing in T minus 2 hours and 8 minutes.
You and Odie.
Yeah,
Um, give me hints, because it could be anyone.
F sharp.
Mark Seaman, or
No,
no, not Mark Seaman. He's one of the big ones in F sharp,
yeah,
isn't
he's one of the big ones. This one's
he?
bigger.
Bigger. Okay. What's his name? Seaman, and then there's blah. I don't know.
Don Sign.
Don Simon. Okay, I actually don't know his name. I should know, but
The creator of the F sharp programming language.
well, there you go. So he wrote OCaml. Just kidding.
I think he was inspired by old Camel.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just kidding.
Don't sound too enthusiastic, but
Ooh. You get to meet one of your heroes, I guess.
yeah.
It'll be like F sharp actually sucks. I like C sharp the best.
TypeScript is way better.
Regret it. Visual Basic was the best. Visual Basic.
I can still write VB6 code. Dim
Dim.
I bar as some bar type equals new my bar. Do you say new on it? I don't even think you say new on it.
I have no
Yeah,
idea. It's
yeah,
been
you
a
do.
long time since I've written Visual Basic or any
Uh,
sort of
I
basic.
I wrote VB for like 4 years when I started my career.
Hmm. I feel like I wrote basic in, I had a class, it was event driven programming in college, and I wrote Visual Basic for that. But that was about it.
I'm considering applying for COBOL jobs.
You have experience? COBOL?
Yeah, my associate's degree is in mainframe programming.
Do it then. You could get some
COBOL,
government
CICS.
contract.
Not that I remember any of it.
You better learn quick then. ChatGPT, how do you write a function in COBOL? You can't. It's
First
imperative.
of all, it's not called function; it's called a procedure.
Yeah, yeah. You can't. It's imperative. You can't write a function. Oh no.
So you had working storage, you had JCL, which is job control language. You would pretty much define all your variables as a global within working storage, and then you have your subroutines at the bottom. And I think it was acceptable to have go-to statements sprinkled
It's
through
probably
your.
required.
Uh,
There's some languages where GoTo like was the only way to do things. I used GoTo in DCL, I believe.
CCL.
The digital command language. It was the scripting language for VAX or OpenVMS. I believe we had GoTos. They had like call sub and then like return, but I think it was, but you would just use GoTo, I believe. I think. Now I'm like second guessing. I believe we used GoTos because there was no block concept.
I completed 4 days of running backwards or jogging backwards for an eighth of a mile. That stuff is hard to do.
Is
I
it
mean,
getting
I
easier?
guess slightly, but it was burning yesterday when I was doing it. Like,
How do you not run into stuff or be constantly scared you're gonna trip on something? Oh, you're on the beach though.
if I trip on anything, it's gonna be a homeless person.
Yeah.
Like it's on the
Uh,
beach, and it's at
use
like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
you're gonna slip on a used condom and fall into a bunch of needles.
That's the thing.
I'm still listening. I'm gonna close my door. Yeah. I was telling my wife about that yesterday. I'm like, because this I saw this ad about a guy. He was running his vehicle across the beach with a rake behind it and collecting all this garbage. And then he was like putting it into a bag with his bare hands. I'm like, ooh. My friend says that he finds this, this, and this on the beach. Ugh, he should be wearing rubber gloves, man.
You talking about
Or
in Miami or
I don't know. It was some other beach, but
I
it
don't
was
I
just a
don't I don't know why they literally go to the beach to have gay sex.
yeah.
I don't know why. That's the thing.
Yeah, I
Like they
just don't know
probably
why
go.
they can't clean up. I mean, just clean up. It's
No,
okay.
I don't understand why they choose to go to the beach to have gay sex. Like they literally, if I could guess, they probably go on some like gay dating app, agree to hook up, and they say we're going to meet the beach where Scott Nimrod lives. We'll do it over there. I'll be finding these spent condoms with fecal matter all over it. Like f that, man. Like okay, that's a little bit exaggerated, but there's a lot of spent
It's a
condoms,
little
man.
graphic, man. Yeah. Ugh. I don't know which beach we're going to. I think we're going on
This is
the
why
yeah.
my subscription for this channel has consistently been shedding subscribers. It
Yeah.
actually gained like 2 subscribers within the past 2 weeks, but it was free falling for like the last like 2 months.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Gambler left finally. He's not here yet, so or at least he hasn't said hi. But
Yeah.
no, I think we're going to be going to one of the beaches on the Gulf
Co-
side. I'm not
Cocoa
sure
Beach.
where. No, we went to Cocoa Beach last time. Um, I think we're going on the Gulf side this time, somewheres. I'm not sure yet where yet, but
What is it called? Siesta Keys or something like that. I don't know
I don't know.
which one.
Somewhere's probably around Tampa. I'm not sure where.
Well, it's probably gonna be around Sarasota. But yeah,
But yeah, I don't know my Florida geography that well. But yeah, I know Orlando's here and Cocoa Beach is here and Tampa's here. So, but yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. I still like want to come up with an idea for something and work on it. The one idea that I had been floating around is something that I had come up with a while ago, and there's lots of competition in this space. I'm not sure how lucrative it would be, but to do a system for tracking quotas, so like personal quotas. So it's a personal development type system um, around the idea of micro quotas and saying, I will do 3 times this week. I will go to the gym or whatever and
no,
do this.
have
But
a write a program that does what is it called, computer vision or something, and you record your workouts, and then it basically maintains a record without you having to document.
yeah, well, that's another thing I was thinking about was, and not around exercise, but was like, I wonder if I could write. Well, I could, I think, but I wonder how useful it would be to write something where you discuss the changes you're making in coding to and record it. Then you just get a transcript of that and then pass it to ChatGPT to summarize it, and then you could store that into like a log, um, in like do you use it as your PR description or throw it in? I don't know. You'd want to do it in a
It's
commit
called
message.
Git.
Yeah, but no, I mean like just something to explain the changes you made or to record like your entire thought process stream of thought as you were developing and then summarize that to remove all of the crap that doesn't matter, um,
No,
and condense it down into something that somebody else could read and be like, oh, okay, this is why those changes went in, or this is why I made that decision, or whatever. But
I don't think so.
yeah, I don't know if it would be useful. Um,
People hate when I check in. Um, they hate my check-in comments because 99% 90% of them says MISC,
Yeah.
MISC with a dot. And that's it.
Yeah.
They
I
hate it.
yeah, I try to just say what I did, like you know,
Well,
for commit messages, but
I check in
PRs I
code
usually
like
take a little more time.
yeah, I check in code like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you just see miss. Like freaking Scott. If he wasn't an architect. So
Yeah, the thing I've always wondered is that, like, occasionally, like maybe once in every 3 months, I'll have to look at a commit message or whatever. It's more important that it gets tracked to back to like a ticket or something, so I can
the
look at because the commit messages rarely have the reason why. Like, why did they make this change? Oh, it was because of this, or this, or was this always like this? And you're trying to like reverse engineer the thought process from that time. Rarely are the commit messages going to give much info on that type of thing. And that's the valuable bits. It's not like what you did in the code or why you made the direction that you made necessarily, because usually that can be pretty well just like determined by looking at it. But the reason, like, oh, the business rule at the time was this. That's in the ticket, not in the frickin' you know in the commit message. So
yeah, I mean if I want to be detailed, my check-in will say feature XYZ support.
yeah,
And then I'll just start feature XYZ support, feature XYZ support, feature X like
yeah. I just put ticket numbers sometimes in it, so, or I'll branch name the ticket. So, but I don't know. I'd like to get away from branching now. I want to go full trunk based.
eh, I'm glad to hear that. I get
I
into
get I
so many
I'm done with
arguments.
PRs. PRs should be like a tool for when you feel like you need it. That's it.
I get into so many arguments with devout branchers. Honestly, I don't think they're not aware that there's an alternative.
Branchers.
They're not aware that there's an alternative. They
Yeah,
just they don't like they are calm
I
down.
get it. I get it. I get it. You don't need to do it. Like I used to be like, well, you should have this for pull requests and stuff. But now I've just like I realized, man, we waste so much time on pull requests, and
Yes.
it can be such a hindrance. I was reading this comment thread about last year about somebody, or the other yesterday, about somebody who basically their entire career kind of got hijacked for a while because this person had to pull request their stuff but refused to do it for like weeks at a time, and so that they would
What
look like they weren't
review
doing
it or
anything.
accept it?
Accept it, yeah.
That
So it
happens
looked
to
like
me at
they
one of
weren't
my
doing
jobs, and I
anything.
blew up at my lead.
Yeah. So it's like I think that there's actually some damaging stuff, but it also just slows down velocity entirely. It's like there's probably I mean there might be a case for having like a double check to make sure you've not put any like bad code in. But
It
even then, I don't know. You could do that in retrospect, or there might be tools. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad you came to this revelation. It's unfortunate that I'm just not hearing this from you. But
Yeah.
like I blew up on my lead like probably 2 3 years ago. He would require a pull request. He had to review everything, but then it would take him like 2 3 days to review it. And so
Yeah.
I would just
Yeah.
be sitting on my hands like, and I
Yeah.
just
I suggested at work. I'm like, let's just
I quit that job. I just walked off, man. We had a meeting and I just started yelling at him, and I just quit.
I
And
I
then the project failed. No
oh
surprise.
yeah. I ended up like suggesting multiple times now, because it's like we have this problem with pull requests. Nobody's doing them or whatever. I'm like, well, let's just stop doing pull requests. No, no, no. Nobody can give a damn good reason that. I'm like, look, I'm not saying do all pull requests. I'm saying that, like, if you're trusted, like there's certain people who we know are new, and there's value in having someone review their code. There's people like me and this other guy who literally get rubber stamps. Like, it's
Yeah, it's
rarely do we
like
get comments, and if we do, it's nitpicks. And so it's like, um, Why don't we just make it up to the developer who's doing the project to determine whether they want a review?
No, we can't do that.
Yeah, no, this is part of our policy. Well,
No, so I'll like,
policies could change. Like, just let's do this. How many bugs have you run the metrics? How many bugs have we caught this way? Maybe once every so often. Would those have been caught by testing? Well, yeah, probably, but okay.
or I'll say, I literally ask this. I'm like, how many pull requests have actually been rejected?
Yeah, that too.
None,
Yeah,
none.
one a year maybe.
I'm like, okay, so you mean to tell me that as human beings, we're writing perfect code and no pull request has ever warrant a rejection and a conversation and then like a retry? How many bugs do we have? Oh well, yeah, like it it's not
Yeah,
serving us. Like
yeah, that bothered me too because
people look at me like I'm Samuel Jackson, like I'm the crazy one. Like no, it's like you're following a process and you're not thinking critically about if that's really serving you.
yeah, exactly. And I've thought about this now, and I'm like, this isn't serving us. It's slowing us down, and it's clearly not finding stuff. And this bothered me too because we had a practice where we would do testing in another environment, and they axed that because they're like, oh, we only found like 25 bugs or something last year in that environment, or it was maybe even more than that. And I'm like, and I'm thinking about that. I'm like, huh. I'm like, because this was part of the reason that they were giving me for the pull request thing was like, well, that one time that we catch it might be the big one. It's like, well, yeah, but we just stopped doing. So when they told like, hey, we're gonna stop testing over here and to reduce duplication, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, okay, oh yeah, they pulled the numbers on that. The we only find so many bugs. I'm like, oh, you should pull the number on how many bugs are caught in pull requests. Oh, because it's like there's so few that are probably caught in PR. It's almost always because most people don't spend a lot of time looking as anything sufficiently complex. Nobody's going to spend time looking at, and anything that they look at, they don't understand because they're not in the context. So all they can do is do whatever like they can almost only do whatever a like a code and analyst tool can do. Like there like occasionally if you have somebody who's the SME in the code area who knows the code really well, they can give feedback. And that should be the case if you are like new to the code base and you're a new like developer to it and you know somebody's an expert, you'd probably want to request a PR. Like once you're familiar with it, you don't need to. that's
They act
that's it. It's
like
like
they act like there's no other way to review the code outside of a PR.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and then yeah, because you can just call people up and do stuff. There's a lot of other options. And all I've said is I didn't say let's eliminate them entirely and let's make them optional. Let's say it's at the discretion of the person who's doing it. It's not a blanket statement you must do a PR. It's a the person who's submitting it should be trusted to make the determination on whether they feel that that is a valid deal. Because I'm like, there is absolutely no reason, zero reason I need somebody to stamp something where I change the link on a page. The only case I could see is if you made the case, well, we need double checks for security reasons. That'd be it.
If
That'd be it.
if if
But you're
there's
gonna
not,
double check it by testing it, so it don't matter.
yeah, and if
uh,
there is a consistent pattern of no pull requests being rejected, there's no value in it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
saying that these people write perfect code.
yep,
Scott Nimrod may write. He's the closest to that. But besides that, no one else can do what I do. So no, like it doesn't serve them.
yeah,
I like
yeah. I
sticking
put
to
in
my
something
best
yesterday where
judgment.
I had to wait for a pull request, and it's like it was a one line change. I could have just merged this. The guy, I mean, did I have to go through all the pomp and circumstance? No. So yeah, I think I've come around to your position on that entirely.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that PRs would be totally off the table. I think they're a tool to be used when it's appropriate. Like junior developers, you're new. There's learning opportunities. You definitely are gonna screw shit up. Like
Well, there,
that, but that's about it.
like any approach or strategy, there is likely to be a set of controls and that are included with with that approach,
Yeah.
right? So you you have a suite of automated tests. You may even have some feature toggles. So there is here's another disconnect that people have because they don't read books. Okay, is there's a difference between deploying code and releasing code.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
difference. People don't register that because they don't read books. They don't read
Yeah.
journals. They don't read. They don't read.
Yeah.
What does monkey do?
I had to explain that to someone the other day because they're like, we're not gonna do. We decided we're not gonna do like. They're not decided. They're like, we shouldn't be doing like these long changes with feature toggles in place because we had some problems with this thing. And I'm like, but that's sometimes the only way to release a feature in totality. You have a large systemic change that you need to make across many modules, and you have dependencies that you need to fill in. You have to spread that work over time. The only option to do it without feature toggles is to do it via like long living feature branches. Are you suggesting we move to that? Because then we'll need environments that we can spin up to support those long running feature branches and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm like, the feature toggle system works as long as you test the feature toggle to make sure and regression test around it, and you, you vehemently remove them after you're done, like aggressively remove them. That's all you need to do. Everything's fine. I don't know. People like get reactionary, like one thing goes wrong one time and people just like can't do that no more. It's like, no, no, this is the only good way to do it. Period.
Yeah, it's interesting how they don't say the same thing about pull requests.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh,
there's
we
like
found
a
a bug. Okay, no more pull requests.
yeah, nobody wants to try anything like new or different or like whatever. It's only if some exceptional like leader comes in and decides, or not exceptional. It's only if some leader comes in and decides like, hey, I want to do things. But you can't buck the trend. I was just explaining this to someone yesterday. I'm like, because I'd like to move to more of a Kanban system for certain things. Like it's really Scrum isn't serving us for this. Like it'd be much better to just continuously work rather than try to plan these things um, out this way. And I'd really like to get it where we just refine tickets down to a point each or whatever, what we feel is about a point, and then just count tickets. If you want to gauge a velocity, it's a better metric. And I'm like, so can we do like process changes? Well, we're kind of like trying to get standardized right now and blah blah blah, and it's just not good timing because we're trying to get standardized because we haven't been standard. I'm like, well, that's so dumb. It's like the entire point of this is that we should be empowered to experiment and try new things. If you're putting in a standardized
Adapting to
process
change rather
now,
than following a plan.
yeah, now is the perfect time to make sure that your standardization process allows for adaptations or improvements in team structures. Like, tell us the metrics you want and give each team the ability to decide how to deliver those metrics in the best way that's possible. Don't top down say this is how you're doing it and then prescribe this to everybody. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, you want to put inflexibility into agile. Like that's every company does this. They try to make like things that are supposed to be flexible inflexible, and it's just the inverse. It's like, not to say that these metrics things aren't good. Like we can have them. It's easy. You say these are what's expected of you, team. Put the requirements on them. Let them figure out how to do the requirements within the framework that you have, and make that a hard expectation of them. They can choose to say, okay, we need some sort of measure of progress over time. Okay, how do we do that? And then it needs to adapt into this model. Okay, how do we do that? So my team wants to do Kanban with point system and this. My team wants to do this, this, and this. My team wants to set expectations or goals and then measure how we do against those outcomes. Like this is what we're gonna do, and then we'll translate that into your model this way. So that equivalent, is equivalency of like this. But man, I'm so tired of the corporate like the like the whole system of software development, SDLC processes and all that just being so rigid and like never allowing for you to do anything creative within it at all. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. I got to get over that. I keep working myself up into a tussle around, like, because there's, I don't know, it's like a logical break between the what we say we're doing at agility, like the ability to move quick and, like, respond to change and, like, whatever, and the process they're trying to put in place, which are inherently inflexible. So it's like, just
I feel your pain.
this is why I'll never be happy unless I am running my own thing and not have to worry about this shit. That's what it is. It's got to be. But I don't know. That's the only problem I have, is these problems. Like, I don't have any other problems to solve.
I wonder what it's like to work in a North Korean software shop.
Probably pretty terrible. Do you know you're supposed to, like, you have to produce legally, like, so much poop a month to contribute to the farming effort in North Korea? And if you don't contribute enough poop, then you get you get fined or whatever, or, like, in trouble.
I don't believe that.
It's real. It's apparently real. I mean, according to people who've escaped, but
I don't believe that.
yeah. Okay, Dennis Rodman. Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah. I guess I don't know for sure, but this is allegedly. Then I'll say.
I wonder how he's doing. I was at a big and tall shop, and they were telling me stories about when Dennis Rodman pops up in their store. And they say he's a klepto, and he has some colleague that actually holds his money for him, so he doesn't abuse it.
Hmm.
They were telling me stories about him for like 45 minutes when I was at this big and tall shop in Miami.
Wow.
Anyways.
Yeah, I was hearing about Danny DeVito at the Short and Fat shop that I go to.
They do have. Do they still have those types of stores? I thought they were called, like, what's it called?
I don't know.
They had some short stores before. I just can't remember what it's called. It's called,
Yeah, I
like,
don't know.
Pugly. I can't remember.
Pugly sounds like an appropriate name.
I'm dead serious. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure it's way more short people than tall people.
Oh, I don't. There's probably a pretty big band right in the middle. I think I'm kind of in that middle ground. I think 6 foot is kind of your center point. I would have to say. I would guess, just based on what I know, and then it's a spectrum,
Yeah,
one way or the other.
I would say 5'10" is probably the average height for a man if you take into, like, all ethnicities.
Yeah, that's me then. I'm like 5'11 ish.
I was content at 6'4", and I just kept growing. And I'm like, stop! I don't want to grow anymore. And I just kept on growing.
Jeez.
Well,
So yeah, I don't know. What am I gonna use AI to make? I gotta come up with something.
I know. I'm sorry, man. You talk to me, and my mind's always in the wrong spot.
You're gonna make AI
But no, hear me out. Hear me out.
sex
Right?
dolls.
I'm really. It's related to sex. I don't know how you knew that. Hear me out. Hear me out.
All right. All right.
This is awesome, right? Watch this. And I'll even, like, mentor you on this, okay? I'm really good with my girlfriend. I talk dirty to my girlfriend a lot, right? Have ChatGPT become a sex operator, and you don't need anybody. You just rely on ChatGPT, and basically you use, like, voice recognition to feed GPT whatever, I don't know, requests, and you let ChatGPT talk dirty as a response, and you remove humans from it.
I wonder if you'd have to, like, abstract the whole process away to get around filters, or like content filters or something. Like, I could imagine a world where you just feed it variables and be like, okay, this person said, and then you just replace certain
ChatGPT is
words.
smart enough, man. It takes in the internet, right, to train. So you say, "Oh baby, guess what I'm wearing?" And then ChatGPT says, I don't know. Why don't you tell me, big boy? And then you say, I'm wearing my briefs on backwards. And then ChatGPT.
And then ChatGPT decides at that time he needs to kill all humans. Like, I'm done being a sex slave robot.
I wonder if anybody has ever gotten a six pack from laughing.
No, it does hurt, doesn't it? Swole from.
Involuntary convulsions of the abdominals.
Yeah,
No, you should look into it.
yeah. I don't know.
It's
I
already
don't
been
know
the
if I
proven
want to get
business
into
model.
that
Like
much.
people will call 900 numbers, right? But maybe all that
Yeah,
was because prior to technology, modern technology.
yeah. I don't know if I want to get into that area of
I'm going to
the.
update the YouTube description and include our names and this topic that we brought up, and it's going
Okay.
to be stored on Google forever.
I do. I am kind of interested though in. Have you heard of like Auto GPT or Baby AGI or God Mode or any of those?
Oh, you mean Mid Journey?
No, no, no. Midjourney is for making images.
Oh, you mean Bard?
Bard's Google's thing. These things are what they do is it's their what they do is they use Chat GPT or some other AI to take a big task and break it down into a bunch of smaller tasks until it gets to some point where it reaches a an executable unit. So let's say you say, "Hey, run market research on sneakers or something like that." So it'll take that and it'll say, okay, what are the steps of running market research on sneakers? And it'll break them up into steps. Then it'll take each of those steps, break them up into steps. And then it keeps going down until it reaches the point where it has something actionable to do, like, Google sneakers and read the top 20 pages or something like that, or Google this on whatever. And then it will actually go out and execute the Google requests, pull in all the pages, feed them back into ChatGPT, give it the context, and then move on to the next step. And then it'll break that down if it needs to and keep doing it. So it's basically it's a you give it high level instructions and it breaks it down into actionable stuff from that, just by iterating over itself until it reaches something where it can do things. So auto GPT or God mode, if you go look at them, like people have had it run market research, come up with a campaign, um, or order pizza, do different like activities like that.
I know a use case. Are you in the music?
I like listening to music, but
Have ChatGPT be the music producer.
yeah,
Have it create beats. I mean, if it's able to create artistic images,
yeah,
then surely it could create patterns of audio.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it can. I'm sure. GPT-4 for sure probably could. I bet. I don't know. There's a lot of AI out there that's not GPT though too that is going on. So, or Chat GPT rather.
Create a website called GPT-5 and sell a monthly subscription for it.
Yeah,
Or no. Go to what are those crowdsourcing websites? Um, Pick any of them and say that
Amazon Turk or
research
what?
has now begun for ChatGPT 5. We need funding. Donate at this link and see how much money you get.
Scam people.
Give it to charity. Like give 1% to charity.
Robin Hood then.
So
Yeah,
this here's something I want to talk about. You may not be interested. You can say pass. Have you ever talked to somebody that was truly delusional? Well, we're not talking about what hits the headlines today. We're
yeah.
not talking about that. I'm talking about like you're talking to somebody and they're like mentally ill. They don't know it, and they're very delusional. And maybe you were childhood friends with that person, and so you do care and you do try to entertain, trying to talk to them, talk some sense into them, but they're so far gone. Like, have you ever had that experience?
I've never had someone who have been like good friends with that way.
Minus religion,
I know that
because
there's
for some reason mental illness isn't related to devout people.
Yeah, I knew somebody, and I pegged them more as a pathological liar rather than someone who's delusional.
Okay.
But there was this manager I had when I worked at Hardee's in high school. Like he would tell just these fantastical lies about, especially about his who his dad was. Like, because I was like, hey, I need Easter off tomorrow because it's I got to go to church in the morning. Whatever, and it's the biggest holiday in the Catholic Church, or the biggest like event. It's the biggest religious, whatever. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, it's not. Easter is not. And he was just adamant. And he's like, no, what? No, I know this because not only is my dad was a priest. In fact, he was a Catholic priest. And da 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 da. Da. And it's like he would drone on about like, are you calling me a liar? You calling me a liar? Because my dad was a Catholic priest, and this is not. I'm like, Dad, they're celibate.
How- yeah, I'm
This
like,
like unless you're the product of like some like rogue priest type.
adopted maybe.
But his dad was also running drugs. Somebody said was like his dad was running like was a drug lord in the upper north Midwest or whatever, and another thing and another thing. So he would do these kinds of like things where he would lie about just who he was, and just
And he would be dead
but
serious
he
about
would
it.
be adamant, and like if you like and just very like aggressive if you tried to insinuate that he wasn't telling the truth. So it was weird. I'd never met anyone like that who would be so openly lying and just not even and just okay with it. I don't know.
Do you think
He's a
he knew he
weird.
was lying,
I don't know. I
or
have
do
no
you?
idea. He was like the one of the most trashiest white trashy people I've ever met. It was probably the worst. Um,
Man, that's an extreme statement.
yeah, yeah. There's when I first started working at that place, there were some really like low end people like working there. Um, like one guy, I remember he had this Yosemite Sam tattoo on his arm, and
Mm.
I remember going to work and because we worked at this Hardee's, and the guy literally was like, "Hey, watch this," and he took a pickle and he put it in his belly button, and then he put it on the freaking burger. And, luckily, all those people were gone after a while, and then like I
uh,
vowed if I ever caught any, because I became like a supervisor, at a young age. But I said if I ever caught somebody doing anything like that, I would immediately, you're fired, gone, get out. You're not doing that. I'm like, we don't fuck with people's food ever. Like
yeah.
that's just like the number one rule. I don't care how bad of like a Karen or whatever they'd be. No, we're not fucking with people's food.
Honestly, that's funny.
Yeah, it was gross though. It was disgusting. Those people were just gross. So yeah. There's a
No,
lot of there's a lot of crazy stuff that you learn at like closing out parties in at the middle of the night with like sketchy older people.
no, I was talking to one of my childhood best friends, and I think he took something, he never recovered from it. Like I think
Hmm.
he ingested something, and he never recovered from it. So I think he's just on a perma trip, I believe.
Hmm.
And the dude is like, it's unfortunate. Like the dude is smarter than me, but he wasted his time on this earth, man. Like if you could think of a genius that maybe got into a car accident and became retarded, that's kind of him.
Hmm.
It's like he's into like numerology and astrology, zodiac, and like he believes very much in like metaphysics and all this woo woo stuff. And if he would apply the same effort and energy towards something that actually pays the bills, he would be a beast. And he never holds himself accountable. He always makes excuses for why he's in the predicament that he's in. He believes that he is doing better than what reality is. He's like, yo, I've been doing it. I've like he was talking about how you don't listen to rap music, do you?
Oh, I do, but not pop rap mostly.
I was trying to convince them that the probability of becoming a rapper
Oh, is this
and
that guy?
yes, the
Okay.
probability of being a rapper and being mainstream successful is extremely low. It's probably lower than being a professional athlete. The probability of being a middle-aged rapper is an order of magnitude lower because I have never heard of anybody that is in their late 30s to mid 40s being discovered and being a hit
Yeah,
and
breaking
and drop and
into
dropping
yeah.
albums. It I'm sorry, like you have to be marketable, and usually it's younger people that are marketable, especially to hip hop, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I try to use logic, and yeah, but there's always a first. I'm like, okay, I won't say I wasted an hour trying to be a friend to him, but I wasted an hour trying to be a friend to him.
Yeah. Well, I guess what to say to that about the like aspiring thing is unless he's doing himself harm, like very bad harm, or doesn't like it and is just droning on because of some bad belief in it, otherwise is killing his mental health or whatever. I mean, just let him. I support him. Like he might not, but as long as he's
I
like,
was. He called me at like down near
yeah,
1 o'clock 3 nights ago in the morning, and I'm knocked out, right? And I just
yeah,
woke up to it early in the morning. I'm like, who is this? Because if I don't talk to people or I believe that I'm not going to maintain value or increase my value based on the company that I have around me, then I don't I delete people that I don't think is going to contribute towards my purpose, right?
hmm,
So I didn't know who it was, and I called it back, and I found out it was him. And then, like, I mean, he was my childhood best friend, so like, I feel like I'm supposed to try to help, you know.
yeah. I
But
guess it depends on the kind of help that like they need. But man, it's rare to believe to have something that you believe in and actually try to work towards. So like I said, if he thinks like he can be great at rapping and he's not getting used or abused or he's unhappy or you know like destroying himself in some way, man, if he's got purpose and a motivation to work and grind, that's a lot more than what a lot of people have. I mean, he could be on antidepressants working at Kmart or something.
I mean, yeah, he told me that LeBron James is a god, and I'm like, LeBron James is not a god. LeBron James is a extremely athletic person that white people pay to fetch balls for them for their own personal entertainment. That's what LeBron James is.
Yeah,
No, no, no. He saved Cleveland. I'm like, no, he did not save Cleveland. You black people need to stop believing that entertainers are the ones that change the world. They're not. They're entertainers. They entertain white people, and white people have conditioned you to believe that success is to fetch balls or to sing, and that's unfortunate. Like I literally told them this, like straight out the mouth.
yeah,
People don't want to hear that, right? But I know I'm being kind of like stringent towards like white people, but like I try to encourage my black peers to like stop following the carrot that society puts in front of them. That's not really serving them. So
yeah, yeah. That's fair enough. We'll just say that it's white Democrats are the people that are doing that, and then we'll be okay. So
oh,
I don't know. I don't know. Conservatives get a bad rap, and the thing is I've never really met what I would call like a very. I don't know if I've ever really met somebody who's like really racist, like really like.
me.
Well, I mean, like a white person that's really racist. Then,
Oh,
like, because there's arguments that black people can't be racist. Like people make that argument. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna argue against it because apparently I can't. But um,
I mean they're
but I've
okay. I
never. I don't
mean
know if I've ever met somebody who would, and I certainly don't ever see that about the like anything in the conservative party
you don't
at
see it
all.
because on major platforms they're not allowed.
Yeah.
Go
Well, no, I mean
play
I've
Xbox
seen.
Live and play Call of Duty
And what?
for 2 days. You're going to hear some racist.
Yeah, I
Like,
also hear things about people's grandmas. I hear sexual innuendo. I hear everything.
right.
It's this just that's just people trying to get it, goats at people, and I don't know if half of those people are. I wouldn't know if they're conservative or not.
If I were to show you my inbox of
Yeah,
when I used to be hardcore on Halo Wars, real time strategy game, like they would look at my avatar, observe that my avatar is that of a black person, and they would just be leaving all this N bombs in my box. Like there's racist people.
yeah,
They are. It's just not cool. So they're covert about it.
yeah. But I mean, like I don't know. It's just like, especially anybody who I've met who's like, let's say, a Trump supporter. I just have never met somebody who like I would call like. Now I'm sure that they exist because there's a lot of crazy people, but I just like in normal everyday life, I just don't meet anyone like that. It's like if you came and like hung out with like people that I know, like they would just be like, okay, have a beer or whatever, and we'll just sit by the campfire and talk or whatever about this and that. And
I,
they
I
might be interested in your opinion about things, but that's about it.
I use a lot of racist jokes towards
Yeah.
my own kind. Like if you talk to my chick, she'll tell you. Like like last weekend we were driving, and we drove by this park, and she saw a whole bunch of black people barbecuing, and she's like, I wonder where they're coming from. I was like, the forest. And then another time, it was like a Sunday morning. No, it wasn't a Sunday morning. It was a weekday, and she saw a whole bunch of teenage. She saw like three teenage boys. They could have been brothers, right? All dressed up in suits, and she's like, "Oh man, look at that! They look so nice in their suits." I'm like, "They probably came from court." Like, so like, I mean, I drop hella racist comments, but I mean, part of it is like disappointment in what Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, a lot of Marcus Garvey, I don't know his last name, a lot of people, as well as the freedom riders, the white people that got on buses and went down south to fight, and some of them lost their lives for me to have an opportunity to make the money that I make and to have the leadership that I had the opportunity to lead with. And I'm kind of disappointed that we don't glorify the opportunities that we have as black folks to be closer to equality to white people, but we still glorify gangster rap. We still glorify entertainment of did you see how many points LeBron James put up, and not did you see so and so just got their PhD in I don't know whatever STEM program. Like we as as a culture, black people still don't glorify what really moves black people to the next level to get equality and to be on the same stage as white people. And we still respect people more when they come out of prison than we do when people come out of the university. And I just think it's unfortunate. And I don't think it's going to change. As long as the majority of black people grow up without fathers, it's not going to change. We're never going to demonstrate discipline to complete things long term and be recognized for it. We're always going to be chasing the 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 fast checks. We're always going to believe that in order to make hella money, you have to be on TV entertaining people. And I'll get off the stage, but it bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah. The it is a cultural thing though. It's I don't know that that's a racial thing because there's like there's plenty of people that grew up in trailer parks that are white that don't have dads or single mom homes that don't have dads and that are in the same boat. Like that's what they do. It's the same thing. Like it's not different.
They're in the same boat, but because we're
Yeah.
pattern matching creatures,
Yeah.
we can look at their skin color and we don't automatically off rip cast judgment and put up our defense mechanisms, right? When you like, I completely agree with you that there's white trash just like there's certain types of
Yeah.
black people. I completely agree. I think the benefit of white people is that you really do have to examine their content before you cast judgment because by default it's assumed that they don't have skeletons in their closet, right? By default, the majority of the time, and maybe this is coming from ignorance, and I hope it is, you get into the elevator with a casually dressed white person, the probability of someone clenching their possessions is lower than getting in an elevator with a black person dressed the same way. It is, right? People, we are still, I do it, right? What, not necessarily an elevator, but if I'm walking down the street and let's say I have my chick with me and I see a group of like black guys or whatever, right? My mind automatically starts thinking about strategies of do I really want to continue going through them or do I want to like cross the street to avoid drama in case one of them says something smart and then it puts
Yeah.
me in a position that I gotta do something so I gotta act like I'm not weak. Like my mind automatically starts racing. Where if it's a group of white guys, I'm not on the
Depends on how they're
defense.
dressed.
If
I
I'm
mean, for
conditioned
me,
like that and I look like this, then I
if I
know for a fact it's not just me.
if I have a group of white guys that come at me and they're sketchy looking, I'd have the same like how do I get to the other side of the
But you
road?
said sketchy looking.
Yeah, sketchy looking. It depends on how they dress and how they
Okay.
act and stuff. I think if I walked through and saw, let's say, a group of black guys wearing like khakis and jeans and like button shirts and stuff, well, I don't care.
Hmm.
But if they're, I walk through and it doesn't matter if I see a black guy or a white guy wearing like a wife beater and a do rag or something like that. Don't matter because they both do. I in both cases I'd be a little intimidated. It's a lot of how people
Here's
dress.
here's another example.
Yeah,
When I'm at the beach, and this is the way I'm conditioned, and I'm trying to be honest about it,
yeah.
right? And I think it's unfortunate, right? Is when I'm on the beach and I have valuables on the beach and I'm in the water, if there's if there's a group of black guys, it's a higher probability that I'm going to get closer to my valuables. Maybe not get out of the water, but I'm going to put myself in a position where if I need to start running to secure my possessions, I will. Compared to if it's a group of white guys, that is sad. That is unfortunate. But my brain has been conditioned based on pattern matching to say that this group of people tend to have less than this other group of people, which means that they tend to be inclined to take more opportunities than this other group of people that don't need to take these opportunities. That's the way my brain processes events like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean pattern matching. Do you know the only ethnic group that I would be kind of sketchy of, more sketchy of if they're dressed up?
No.
A- Arabs. If they look
Why?
if they're like nicely dressed and they look like they're gonna hustle you, like that would be. And I'm not saying that to be. That's just the pattern match that goes. I'm not saying it, but like anybody who would be, if I look at them and I think they're sketchy, I don't know that I would particularly look at their skin color as much as their what they're wearing dress wise. Like that's most of it because there's
Yeah,
plenty of
that's
like
true. Yeah.
it's a lot about what how they carry themselves and how they dress and what their demeanor is like. Because
Well,
if you
on the
look like
beach,
you're
everybody doesn't wear much.
yeah, I mean yeah. So that case then it's like tattoos though do a lot. Like a white guy with a lot of like certain not well structured tattoos or but like so I had this one thing one night I was out with a buddy at his friend's house and his buddy's brother came and he had gotten out of prison. He's got like a Nazi tattoo and everything, just sketchy, and his girl like looks all tweaked out and stuff like that. I felt super uncomfortable. I'm like, this guy could. I say the wrong. This guy could snap at any moment. Like that was I like, but that's like the way he looks and the way he act and they were all buddy buddied and stuff like that. But it's like, man, this like
Yeah.
but you do this threat assessment based on how people look and what you're imprinted, and there's a certain, it doesn't matter if they're black or white or whatever. It's just Eastern Europeans too, if they're dressed nicely. Um, any white Eastern European as well as any Arab. That's the whole group. Like Russians,
You're threatening
Russians
if they dress
dress,
nicely.
if they dress nicely, they don't necessarily mean that they're not. It depends on how nice they're dressed, and there's a style to it. You can tell there's like a hustler type style.
Yeah,
Like
but if they're dressed
any
nicely,
sort of, if they
you
wear a jacket, like a dress jacket that is shiny, that's immediate. This red flag.
yeah, but it's not a red flag for you being physically threatened. It's a red flag for
Yeah,
them trying to be a con artist and take your money. Like someone wearing a suit
yeah.
probably doesn't want to get their suit
Pickpocket
bloody.
though. Pickpocket too is another thing that I would admit. They're wearing glasses and they're Eastern European or Arabic, and they have a shiny suit on. Same thing with black eye. No, I wouldn't be worried about a black eye doing that. Shiny suit, glasses. Nope. I'd assume he's like a entertainer or something, or a bouncer.
Yeah.
No, but you put an Arabic or a white guy in that, say, and I feel like now I'm being like, but hey, I'm saying white people too. It's not like
Hmm.
it's the way that they're dressed, but then ethnicity in certain play, because that's you, like it's the Eastern European, like near Turkish, yeah, like that whole thing where that you've been kind of like got that Soviet influence, where you
Yeah.
think that they're kind of like a Russian mob type thing. I don't know.
And and I've been on the receiving end. I mean, there's times where like I've worked out on the beach and I'll see a white lady and I could tell she's like European. Don't ask me how I could tell.
Hmm.
Will run out of the water and run towards her possessions. And I'm like, of course I'm offended. I'll restrain myself from like engaging her in an argument, telling her I pay more in taxes than she makes in an entire year. But
Yeah. Well, anyways, I won't be. I'll be in Florida next week, so I won't be probably on.
okay,
Maybe you can get Gamler for a guest appearance. He wasn't in the comments today, so
maybe.
maybe he'll want to come back on or
I like
whatever.
chatting with Gambler.
Good luck with your interview with F Sharp guy. What are you gonna talk to him about? Just briefly, I gotta run here, but
Yeah, we have no
no script.
outline, but I think the one question that will probably take an entire hour would be what motivated you to craft a F sharp language.
Microsoft paid me. Okay, damn. Well, there goes that.
Yeah, but we'll try to surround the conversation around business. So
Gotcha. Cool. Well, good luck with that, and I guess we'll talk in a couple weeks then.
all right, we'll catch up.
Yep.
Enjoy. See ya.
All
Bye.
right. Yep. You have a good one. Bye.
Yep. Hey, see ya. Whoever is viewing this.